Coming up on Let's Get to the Points.
Let's talk about this flight.
I'm ready to hear about this. I need all the details. I need all the tea.
So speaking of the tea, I do recognize what Serena is wearing right now. I got a pair of those as well.
Miguel, what did you think of your pajamas?
Yeah, I really like the pajamas as well. I thought they were comfortable. They were soft. And it's a different style that you normally get. Like, it looks like, you could be in prison.
It's giving me Squid Games. That's what it's giving me.
Oh, yeah.
I just need like a number right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, let's get to the points. She loves to pretend being a crazy rich Asian. It's Serena. Sometimes his journey is the destination. It's Miguel. She takes family budget travel to another level. It's Nicole. And he only lies flat over the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. It's Mitch Shannon.
Hi there, and thank you for joining us on Let's Get to the Points, audio and video podcast, where we bring you the very best in tips and tricks in the world of miles, points, and travel. I'm Ed Shannon, joined by my co-hosts who love traveling the world for pennies on the dollar using their credit card points and miles. First up, it's the very well-rested from her recent trip to China and Japan. It's Serena.
Hi, everyone.
You'll find this guy living his best life in Starlux business class with his boba drink. It's Miguel.
Hey, what's up?
And she's got her carry-on only bag packed and ready for her trip to South Africa. It's Nicole.
Hey guys, how are you?
Please help us out by clicking that subscribe button now to our YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and wherever you watch or listen. Also, give us a like and leave us a comment below and let us know what you think about our show. I like that like, Miguel. Now it's time to do it. Let's get to the points. All right, can you guys believe we are coming up fast on our 1-year anniversary of Let's Get to the Points? That deserves some of those hearts, Miguel. And it's just crazy how time has been flying by. Look at those hearts. I love it. Episode number 45. It's here already. We got some fun stuff planned coming up too. There's a lot to get to this week. And we're going to start with Serena and Miguel. You both are back from your big trips. Half of you look rested aboard Starlux. And we're all ears. I want to hear all about it.
I've been home for 3 nights, so I am well rested now.
I'm the one that's not well rested.
So I wanted to start by telling you guys that I was recognized in Taiwan. Someone noticed me.
A celebrity sighting.
Yes. If you want to call me a celebrity.
Was it Lucille?
Oh, that's funny, Nicole.
Good.
That's a good one.
Good. It took me a while.
Took us a while when you first told us about Lucille.
Lucille is a celebrity. I mean, he's on an Alaska plane right now on its livery. So, he's a big deal. Okay.
Sure. No, if you say so. Yeah.
So I did not see Lucille in Taiwan, unfortunately. But that would be a fun meeting. So instead, I was standing outside a hotel, and this girl, she saw me. And when she saw me, her face lit up and she ran to me and she gave me a big hug. And then her little sister looked at me too and did the same thing. And so these girls happened to be Miguel's little girls. And so it was fun meeting your daughters because you talk about them all the time. So being able to meet them in person and talk with them and share stories, it was really fun. I'm so glad I got to meet them.
Yeah, I feel like they already knew you because they watched the show, on Friday mornings. And they're like, oh, it's Serena right there.
I know. It was so funny because when I was hugging them, you were busy with your bags. You looked around and you were looking for them. And then you realized I had them.
Sigh of relief.
So that was really fun. And I had a very short 11-hour layover in Taiwan. So I made very good use of that time. I was able to meet up with a friend when I was there. And I haven't seen this friend in over 7 years. The last time I saw her and talked with her was right before she left the US to go live in Taiwan. So I think it's so great that Points and Miles is able to do this. This is the beauty of Points and Miles for me, to reconnect with old friends, meet new friends like Miguel's family. I think this is so great. I mean, traveling the world, seeing the sights, fancy hotels, lie flat seats in the sky with doors, that's all great. But for me, it's the human connection that really means a lot to me. So my favorite parts of this trip to Asia was the human connection, meeting my friend in China, meeting my friend in Taiwan, meeting Miguel's family. That was really meaningful to me.
Yeah, I agree, Serena. And it's these human connections and these moments of our family enjoying these trips as well that I cherish when I travel as well. But I also want to include the food. So I do enjoy the food a lot, trying the new food.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so funny that you two live closer together in the US, but it's easier to meet in Asia than it is to meet here.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Aw.
And we didn't really plan this, right? I mean, we just happened to be there, I guess, because it was spring break time and our kids are out of school, that we happened to have like the same dates of travel. And we just happened to be able to meet up at least for a couple hours. But it was good to be able to meet for a few hours in Taipei. So that was pretty cool.
And let's give credit where credit is due. Miguel, you found this award space on Starlux for all of us.
Well, then I'll give the credit to Seats.aero because that's what I was browsing when I found it. So,
And remember, we have a new Seats.aero code too.
The new Seats.aero code is Let's Get 20 to save 20% on the annual plan for Seats.aero.
So Miguel, we happened to be in Taiwan at the same time, and I chose this time period because of the weather primarily. I wanted to be in Asia when it was more comfortable, and friends have told me that this is a great time to go, and it was true. I mean, I felt very comfortable in Taiwan, and when you get into the summer months, it gets very hot and uncomfortable. So I'm just glad that we were able to experience where the weather was very tolerable. It was nice, short sleeve, didn't need to have a sweater or anything, and we weren't sweating. So I enjoyed that.
and no typhoons.
No, right. No typhoons.
Buckle up, Buttercup, because when you come to Miami in June, it's like living
Is
in
that
an
hurricane
oven.
season?
It's all of the above. It's hurricane season, living in the oven season. It's Miami in summer. Welcome.
Well, the good thing is I'm going to have a beach nearby. So as long as I have water nearby, I'm okay. So my trip to Asia was built around this Starlux business class flight back home. Miguel and I both took this flight on different days and back to different cities. I took it back to San Francisco, and let's talk about this flight.
I'm ready to hear about this because Paul and I were going to be taking this in a couple of weeks. So I need all the details. I need all the tea. I need to know everything I need to do for this flight.
So speaking of the tea, we'll get to the specialty that they serve. But I do recognize what Serena is wearing right now. And it looks to me like Serena is wearing her pajamas because I got a pair of those as well.
These are the Starlux pajamas. They're made by a proprietary brand. I don't think it's a brand that anyone knows, but they're made in Taiwan.
Is it a friend of mine?
From the E word? No.
Yeah.
These are made in Taiwan, and I actually like them because they are thick. So they're very comfy. I don't like the color too much, but it goes with the theming and the color of their cabin. I understand why they chose this color, but it's very comfortable.
Yeah, I noticed that different color on you. I'm like, that doesn't look like a color Serena would usually
No.
wear, but it looks good on you.
Oh, it does? Thank you. I would never
does.
choose this color. Miguel, what did you think of your pajamas?
Yeah, I really like the pajamas as well. I thought they were comfortable. They were soft, and it's a different style that you normally get. Like it looks like, you could be in prison. But no, I like them. We like them. And my wife and daughter also got some. The kids did not get some. They didn't have kid sizes, and they didn't offer any other alternative. But I mean, they were fine. They were ready for that flight. They had their travel fit ready.
No, you best believe I'd be asking the flight attendant to give me a small. Take them home. Gift them. You can re-gift them for Christmas or something.
Team carry-on, we had enough bags to worry about. So I was like, we can't take anything extra, because I would have loved to bring back one of their blankets, which were really nice also. But I just didn't have room for any of that anymore. Like we were maxed out with space. We didn't have room for any more.
I had room. You all know I had room.
Of course you did.
Tell us about this room.
So I wanted to tell you about these pajamas. So in prison, they don't have pajamas that have the Starlux logo in the back. So I have some footage here that you could see that in the back there is the Starlux logo right under the collar, which is a nice touch too.
Yeah, one level up from prison.
It looks like kind of sweatshirts,
It does.
baggy pants type thing? Is that kind of what it is?
Yes, yes. I will say that I have a medium and it's a little tight along the waist area. And I think it's because I ate so much on this trip. I feel like it runs a little bit small in the pants area. What I've noticed with Emirates pajamas, for example, it has a cuff on the leg on the bottom. And I hate it because that cuff rides up when I'm waking up in the morning. I hate that. These don't have a cuff. And also like the Qatar Q-Sweep pajamas, they're so thin. And so I don't like thin material. These are perfect, aside from the prism look.
You can't win them all, okay?
And the color.
You have to pick your battles. Color's great. Color's great on you.
It's giving me Squid Game. That's what it's giving me.
Oh, yeah.
I just need like a number right here.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about the experience. Let's start at the beginning. And they've got the new lounge, right?
Yeah, so Starlux just opened their new Galactic Lounge in Terminal 2 at the airport there in Taipei. Terminal 2 is where they fly out to the US route. So that's really where you'd be using the lounge if you're flying Starlux to and from the US. And again, I guess it's a recurring theme with me and missing out on lounge time, you know, just like I missed using the lounge in Chicago on our way out. It happened again, but this time it was entirely my fault. And this is because when we arrived in Taipei from Japan, not Team Carry-On, so we stored our luggage there. I was like, okay, you know, that way we don't have to carry it in because we're only in Taipei for a night. So I figured we would store the luggage we didn't need. We had 4 bags that we were going to hold there at the airport till the next day. I didn't realize, you know, that there was 2 different terminals and I was not flying in and out of the same terminal. I figured Starlux, I'll fly in and out of the same terminal. Well, no, they serve different routes. So we flew into Terminal 1. That's where I stored the luggage. The next day, we fly out of Terminal 2 and I'm trying to find the luggage storage company. And I'm like, this doesn't look familiar at all. I realized, you know what, this is a different terminal. So then they have a SkyTrain that connects Terminal 1 and 2 airside. So you don't have to clear security again. But it took me about 45 minutes total from when I went to go pick up my luggage, pay for my luggage, retrieve it, go back to Terminal 2. And then by that time, I mean, it was like pretty much almost an hour of lounge time that I could have had at the new Galactic Lounge that I didn't because of this mistake, this lesson. So here's my lesson for the week, Nicole. You know, check, you know, which terminals you're storing your luggage in, I guess, or flying in and out of, because, you know, that cost me an extra hour at the lounge. So I did make it out to the Galactic Lounge. I think it's kind of small, but I mean, there's probably only 1 flight, maybe, or 2 that are flying out at that time. So it wasn't crowded when we went. There's 2 floors, and the top floor, that's where most people were eating. Downstairs, it was pretty much completely empty when I went. So the food, I think, was okay. They have a buffet. They have a very small buffet, but it was pretty good. I think the food was decent. And they do have a la carte dining. There was a QR code, but again, I mean, we were only going to be there for 20 minutes, so I didn't bother trying to order something. I said we'll just, you know, wait to eat on board.
Did you at least get a glass of champagne?
No, they had some really cool, they had some interesting drinks. So they had like cold pressed juices and teas and stuff in their fridge. So I was like, I wanted to try those drinks instead. And that's what I did. They did have a self-serve beer tap, but I didn't try that either. I waited for the flight for the champagne and then I kept it flowing. So what about you, Serena? Did you have more time in the lounge than I did?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah. My flight was at 11 p.m. and I left Miguel and his family. We went to a night market with Miguel's family and my friends, and we left them and headed out to the airport. So we got to the airport 3 hours ahead of time. You know what was really weird when we were checking in? And Miguel, I'm sorry about your whole terminal thing, because when I arrived on China Airlines from Okinawa, we actually ended up in Terminal 2. I just assumed that you would have been arriving in the same terminal as well. So sorry about the whole baggage thing. So I also left my bags at the luggage storage, but I happened to be in the right terminal, so it didn't take me as long to get my luggage and to check in. So I thought check-in was really weird because they make you go watch this screen and you're supposed to look for your bag and make sure it goes through the x-ray machine before you continue through security. And I thought that was the weirdest thing because, first of all, I couldn't tell how long I had to wait for the bag. I didn't know where my bag was in the queue. And I wasn't sure whether that camera was on the x-ray machine entrance or exit. And they don't tell you if you never see your bag what to do. So it was really weird. Have you guys ever heard of that before?
So wait, is this your checked bag or is this your carry-on bag?
Checked bag. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that somewhere else, but I can't tell you which airport it was. But that's happened to me one other time where we were told, hey, go look at the screen and don't proceed to security until you make sure your bag goes through. And this happened again with Starlux. By the time we got to the camera, we waited there for like a minute. We're like, okay, you know what? I think we missed it because... there's nobody else here. I think our bag already went.
Yeah, it was weird because then we had a bunch of people surrounding the screen just waiting for their bag. And no one had no idea whether it had already gone through or it was about to come. So I don't know. That was a little disorganized.
We had something similar happen in Abu Dhabi, but that's because we were clearing customs to go back to the US because they had pre-clearance there in Abu Dhabi. And they pull your bag up on the screen and they're like, is this your checked bag? And you're like, yeah, that's it. But I've never heard of this.
Yeah, very interesting. So I had plenty of time in the lounge, and I know that we talked about how small the lounge is, but it actually didn't feel crowded at all. There were 2 flights going out that night, one to San Francisco, which is the one I was on, and then one to LAX. So it didn't feel crowded. One thing that I would like to note is I did take a shower in this lounge. It's late at night. We spent the whole day out and about. We just came up from a night market. I felt nasty, so I had to take a shower. My tip for the showers is to get there 2 to 3 hours in advance and take your shower right away. The shower turnover time is so slow. By the time it was my turn, I barely had enough time to take a shower, take my video footage, and also get dressed up. And then we had to like really book it to our gate because it was boarding already by the time I got out of my shower. So do it as soon as you get to the lounge, and then you can eat afterwards and relax. I did the other way around. I ate and then took a shower because I was waiting for my turn. And there are only 2 showers in the lounge. They clean it in between each use, which is why it's taking forever. And because it's a late night flight, everybody else wants to take a shower too. Mitch, I have a feeling you're going to want to take a shower. So do that first.
Yeah, that's a good pro tip right there, Serena.
And then things in the shower that I wish I had that I didn't have with me.
Slippers?
Yes. I wish they had provided some flip-flops, or I wish I had brought my flip-flops because I didn't have those. I wish I had a hairbrush. They only provided this little comb that I had such trouble with. And then they didn't provide conditioner, which was different for me too. So those 3 things I wish I had.
Your daughter would have been devastated.
She would have been devastated. No conditioner. So for the food, I did order the items on the QR code, which are the a la carte items. And the things I liked the best were the sukiyaki beef and also the bone broth soup that came with the bun. I didn't care for the bun so much, but I really liked the taste of the soup. But like Miguel said, everything else was just okay.
You didn't get a hot dog?
No, I didn't, because I ate a little bit of everything else. I can't waste my stomach space
on a hot
dog.
That's not from Costco.
And they had cheesy hot dogs too, and I really wanted to try it, but I didn't think I would have the space. Did your kids get a hot dog, Miguel?
No, they didn't. They were just getting, I think they just got fruit and dessert really, but I thought it was interesting that they serve hot dogs. I wonder if it's because they serve routes to the US or because they have like a partnership with the Dodgers and, it's like stadium food. But yeah, I saw the hot dogs. I almost wanted to try it just because it was like a novelty item.
And you didn't try it?
No, I didn't try it, no.
And it's one of those 7-Eleven types, so it's on that rolling thing where it's hot. So Mitch, I think you're going to have to try the hot dog when you go.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Oh, you don't eat hot dogs?
That's a no. I had my my hot dog fix at Hyatt Place, Kyoto. So my daughter said the bath products smelled like hot dog water. And after she told me that, I'm like... Yeah, I think they do. So
that's a bad smell, right?
That's
a
bad smell.
Yeah.
So the rating on the bathroom products at Hyatt Place Kyoto, 0.
It's hot dog water.
Less than Dove.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So you guys went to the lounge. The food was just okay. We didn't have champagne. We didn't have hot dog, but now we're into the thick of it. We're on the flight. Tell us about that experience. The stealing of the blanket, the boba tea. The people in the back. I want to know everything.
The people in the back. You're revealing too much, Nicole.
But it is where you go to stretch your legs. You've clearly admitted that to us. So
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for us, the lounge was on the opposite end of where our gate was. So it took maybe like a 15-minute walk. And once we got there, I think it was a little disorganized. It really seemed like the staff didn't know what was going on because there was a small delay and they were just running back and forth. Other than that, then once we got on board, then, you know, it was much better experience.
Same for me, Miguel. My gate was on the opposite end. It took us 15 minutes. Remember, I had to take a shower. So as I got out of the shower, we were boarding already. So when I got to the gate, I was sweating. We were one of the last people to get on the plane because the gate was so far from the lounge.
How full was your cabin? Because for ours was pretty full, and I think that affected the service, and we'll get into that. But there was only one empty seat in business class, and there was one empty seat in first class. So it was actually 3 first class passengers on board.
Oh, interesting. So mine was not full at all, especially in business. So in business class, we only had 10 people. So it was about 40% full. It felt very empty. In first class, we had 2 people. I walked to the back, as I will continue to do now. And in premium economy, it was mostly full. I'll say 80% full. And in economy, it was completely full. I'd say 99% full. But business class felt very empty.
Yeah. So first off, I think the hard product, which is the seat, I think it was great. I think I don't have any complaints other than I wish it had individual air nozzles because I prefer a colder cabin. And the screen, the in-flight entertainment system is a little too shiny, a little too reflective. And sometimes it was a bit hard to watch something because it was depending if the lighting was on. And of course, my girls had been asking to fly on a plane that had doors. So this was their first time finally having doors and they couldn't wait to close that door. As soon as we got on, they're like, you know, it's locked when you first board, right? And they kept asking me like, hey, how can I close this? I'm like, not yet. Just chill. We'll get there.
When I said bye to Miguel's kids, I asked them, are you excited for your flight tomorrow? And the little one said to me, it's going to have a door. She was so excited about the door.
Yeah, they were living their best life on this flight. So my wife and I sat in the middle seats in row 2, and then they sat behind us in row 3. And my older daughter, she did have a window seat off to the side.
How did she like it? I know she's been on a couple of these flights before. Was she just like, oh, this is where I need to be? Or was she also excited about it?
No, she was excited about it. And, but yeah, I think it's also like, okay, this is just how it is. So I think we need to go like on a economy flight, long haul. So I could tell them, no, this is not how it has to be. I don't know about New Zealand though. I don't know about a 13 or 14 hour flight. So maybe like,
I mean, it'll humble you.
8 hour flight or something. But I will say their premium economy, I think it's pretty good. And I would not mind at all flying that long haul. We actually flew Starlux from Osaka to Taipei to get there. My wife and I and my 2 little ones, we did that in economy. We redeemed 10,000 Alaska miles. And there was one seat in premium economy that was also 10,000 miles. So I said, okay, if it's the same price, we'll take that one as well. So my older daughter, she sat in premium economy. It's funny because I went up to visit her during the flight and there was only like 4 passengers in the entire premium economy cabin. And the seat was like really, really nice as well in premium economy. So if you get a chance to do premium economy, I think it'd be worth it over the regular economy.
Yeah, I saw that picture of her and she had a big smile on her face. Like she was really enjoying herself up there. And I would be too.
Yeah, maybe it was more because she was like away from us. She had her own space.
It's tough 24/7 with your entire family.
Yeah, especially when you're sharing these rooms at the Hyatt place in Kyoto with what's it called?
Hot dog water.
Shower with hot dog water, bath products.
So in premium economy, did she get the same meal as you did in economy?
No, she got another meal and different dessert. She had a whole different menu.
How was your experience in economy? Is that something you would fly again?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was great. I mean, the flight attendants, the service was great. I mean, we really enjoyed that flight as well. And, that flight's only 3, maybe 4 hours, I forgot, but I think it was a great use of Alaska miles as well. So for this particular redemption, I actually bought the Alaska miles during a promotion because I did the math and buying the Alaska miles to redeem them at 10,000 miles was cheaper than paying cash. So sometimes, it could make sense for you to do that. And that's what we did for this particular flight. We bought the Alaska miles to redeem them for this flight. And with Alaska's new mileage award chart, I think that could be as few as 7,500 miles now. So I did try to see if I could reprice it, but the cheapest was still 10,000 miles by the time we flew it. So that's what we did.
So, Serena, I noticed on your flight, on your pictures that you shared with us, that you and your husband weren't normally in the middle section. You have all selected your own window seats now. This is a different little thing for you now, right?
Oh, yeah. I like having my own window seat, and I think he enjoys it too. And I think going forward, we would select the middle seats if it was unique, like a double bed in the sky, for example. Aside from that, I think we're fine each having windows. I mean, we were already together 24/7 for the last 10 days. So it's okay if we're separated for a little bit. And, we didn't talk at all during this entire flight.
Perfect.
Which can be nice sometimes. I think he wants his space. Sometimes I want my space. I think he gets irritated when I have my camera like everywhere. So yeah, we do the window now. So I think when you select window seats on Starlux, it's very important which seat you select. Some of the rows are going to have obstructed views. I'll show you here where there are some rows where it's completely obstructed and some like mine in row 5 where you have a perfect window view. So you'll want to avoid rows 3, 7, and 8. And if you notice here, the curtain is actually behind the lavatory. The lav is actually with the business class passengers. And so if you're in row 7 or 8, I think you're just too close to the lav and it would be disruptive, maybe even smelly. I would avoid rows 7 and 8 altogether. And then I would avoid rows 3 on the window seats because they're very obstructed. Windows in 5A and 5K are the best window seats. And if you can't choose those, then I would choose rows 2, 4, 5, and 6. So I'll briefly talk about how to select seats on Starlux. You can chat with the Starlux reps online, but you have to do that during Taipei working hours, or you can call them. In my experience, I found that when I called them, they were much more responsive and the chat time can take a while. But once you got on the line with someone, it was very easy to select your seats. So definitely select your seats ahead of time because it does matter. And I think, Mitch, you already have your seats selected, right?
Yeah, that's a great game plan because that's exactly what we did as well. I wanted those perfect window seats that you just described because, yeah, a couple of them are offset. So like you always say, seat selection is very important. So quick question for both of you. So on Starlux, they do have a first class product, which is right in the very front. So did you check on that? Did you get to see it? Any tips that you have about that?
So when I checked in, I did ask, not that I was going to do it, but I did want to see how much it was to upgrade. And they quoted me $5,000 to upgrade from business class to first class. First of all, right off the bat, I don't think it's worth it. It's weird that first class and business class is not separated. It's literally row 1 of the same cabin. They just have, I think, a little bit larger seats. The walls are higher and the screen was bigger as well. They did get slippers though. I did catch a glimpse of better slippers because we got slippers too. But I was like, are those slippers like just for first class or unless this guy brought his own, but I doubt it. And I would say that the service is better because I did see one of the flight attendants like constantly, because I was in row 2, right? So their first classes were the next row in front of me. I did see flight attendants like constantly hovering over row 1. So they did have, I think, better service and more attentive to that, but I don't think it'd be worth it for $5,000. And I don't think there's a way to redeem miles for that yet. Maybe at some point, but as of right now, you can redeem miles for their first class.
Oh, geez. So it sounds like $5,000 slippers is all you're going to get for that upgrade to first class. It's pretty crazy. I don't know about $5,000 slippers, but I want to know, how was the service? How was the food? How was everything else?
So I think the food was good. I think I should have tried to select child meals because, my kids were served octopus salad and they're like, I'm not eating this,
I saw that on the menu too.
I was asking them about their meal preferences, but then, it comes as part of this whole set, right? So you get the appetizer and then the main entree and everything else. They got their plate and it probably sat there for an hour. And my daughter's like, when am I going to get, my meal? So I told her, you know what? You need to let them know that you're done with this. You're not going to eat this. You're ready for the next course. But yeah, so I should have tried to see if they had child meals or something more child friendly. The meals, I think they were good. I had the duck and I think the duck was outstanding. I had to call one of my daughters over because she likes duck. And I was like, you need to taste this because you're going to like it. And yeah, she did like it. But on the other hand, I think the service, was not as good as I hoped or expected. For example, they didn't get the drinks out in time. So I started eating. I still didn't have my drink.
That's a faux pas. That's
Yeah, you have to.
They should do a drink service first, then the food.
But then again, my wife said this was some of the best service she's had. So, I mean, she hasn't flown as much as I have, but for some reason, when we fly, we take the middle seat. So usually you have a different flight attendant. For some reason, the service is always better on my side. Maybe it just was reversed for this flight because she thought it was good and I didn't think it was as good. So maybe we finally reversed the level of service for us. Another positive is that they came and asked how you wanted to be addressed. And this I would normally just brush off, not even talk about, not even point it out right now. But the reason why I'm pointing it out is because my daughter really enjoyed that because they asked her, how do you want to be addressed? She told her name and then she's like, hey, they came and woke me up because they also asked you, do you want to be woken up for breakfast? So she was really excited about that part because after the flight, she's like, yeah, they came up to me to wake me up and said, hey, do you want your breakfast now? So they also really enjoyed that, I guess, more personalized service.
Okay, my experience with the food was so different. So, for example, the set menu that Miguel had, that is part of their Star Gourmet set menu. That is what I asked for. And the FA said to me, oh, we only have 2 of those on the flight. We might not have that for you. Can you pick something else? And I'm like, oh, Miguel, were you able to check in online ahead of time for this flight?
Yeah, I did check in the day prior, but I didn't get my boarding passes.
Were you able to select meals when you were checking in online? Oh, interesting. Okay, because I did not check in online ahead of time, and it's because I just had no time. It was like out and about and never got a chance to do it. And so interesting how you cannot select a meal ahead of time, but they only had 2 set menus available on our flight, especially when there are 2 in first class. Maybe they have a separate menu. I don't know. And they had 10 people in business class. So I didn't get a chance to experience the duck. I'm kind of sad you actually liked it. Because they were all out of it. So instead I got the pork ribs, which were okay. They were fine. But what I really liked was the late night dinner menu, which is an a la carte order on demand. I ordered the noodles, which were good. And then I also ordered the Wagyu beef burger. And I normally don't order a burger on an Asian carrier. That's not what I do. But it came with a pineapple bun. And of course, I have to try it if it has a pineapple bun, right? And this burger turned out to be really good, juicy, moist, really yummy bun too. So Mitch, I recommend you try the Wagyu burger on your flight.
That sounds really good because I'm going to come back at you because, not ordering a burger on an Asian carrier, probably 2 of the best burgers I've ever had on the airplane are on Cathay in first and EVA in business. They both had these incredible burgers and the meat was really good. So I think, it's better on the Asian carriers with the burgers.
Sounds like a changing of the tunes. Have the burger on the Asian carriers.
Yeah.
Okay, good idea. I will take a chance on the burgers. Actually, when I was checking in for my Cathay business class flight, I asked my husband, what do you want me to order for you? And I knew he would say the burger. So typical. And so he got his burger and he said it was just okay. But I'm sure a Cathay first burger will taste so much better.
Yeah. Now, see, I find that interesting that he thinks that because I think this goes back to my theory, this whole theory of wherever the plane is catered. So if it's catered in the U.S., the products and the quality of the food, meh. Yeah.
I think you're supposed to be able to select your meal with Starlux, but I think there's an issue if you book it with Alaska Miles because you cannot manage your booking online as of right now. So hopefully they fix that in the future. But to select my seats, I had to contact them over the phone. And I think maybe if we called over the phone, we could also maybe select your meal that way, but you can't do it online if you book with Alaska Miles. I think if you pay cash, you can definitely select your meal online, but not if you're booking with Miles.
Okay, great tip. So for everyone, if you want that Star Gourmet set menu, make sure you do it over the phone. Maybe do it when you select your seats, or if you can't, call in 24 hours ahead of time to select that meal.
That's a good tip. I'll do it and report back. I'll try and report back.
Okay, so I wanted to note something about the service. I didn't have any problems with service because there were so few passengers in business class on my flight, but there was one issue where the FA threw me a little bit of shade. So you know how I like to try a lot of things. So after I woke up, I ordered the noodles and I ordered the burger. And she said, "Oh, we're going to have breakfast in 15 minutes." And I said, "Okay." She goes, "Do you still want me to bring it?" And I felt ashamed. And so I said, "It's okay. I'll wait." She goes, "Oh, no, if you want it, it's fine. I can bring it to you." And I said, "Okay, I'll take it then." But why did we have to have this entire conversation? When I first asked for it, it should be brought, I think.
Yeah.
She shamed me for ordering more food. Yeah, I know they're not used to Asians eating a lot, but I can chow down. And I wanted to taste everything.
You sure that's just not your inner voice talking to you, Serena? You sure?
Something similar happened to me. So today I transited through the Atlanta airport. So I wanted to check out the new Centurion Lounge there. And I went to go get a drink. I asked for a tequila sunrise, which is orange juice and tequila and something else. And she said, "Sir, we don't serve alcohol till 11. I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I felt guilty and I guess maybe like ashamed. And I was walking away and I was like, wait a minute. So I look at the time and it was 10:58. I was like, okay, I'm just going to stand here for 2 minutes and ask you again then. But I don't know if it's because it's Sunday or why they don't start serving till 11, because I had not encountered that. If it's the airport doesn't have rules, you just drink and sleep and do whatever.
Some of the lounges have a time when the bar opens. So the Centurion Lounge in Miami only opens up one bar in the morning. They're only serving the mimosas, and you have to wait until a little bit later to get the cocktails. This is why I never advise anyone to pay for access to the Centurion Lounge during breakfast. It's better to go during lunch and dinner because the food is better, the drinks are better, the service is better in the afternoon. I mean, who wants to pay $50 for cafeteria eggs? Not me.
Exactly. Not me.
Serena, the next time they give you shade, just don't give them any Fs. Just be like, "This is the last F I have, and I'm not giving it to you."
I just think the answer should always be sure. And then they go get it for you.
Yeah, I agree.
So there's probably some good things and probably some bad things that happened on your flight. And I know you probably got a list, Serena, so give it to me. I need it for my flight.
I've got a list, Mitch.
Give it to me.
Here you go. So I really liked how the TV screen was huge. I loved how my seat was super clean, which is opposite of the experience I had on Cathay Pacific, right? Where I found crumbs. No crumbs to be found at all on this seat. No ring stains. They picked up my garbage within an ample amount of time. I like how they had USB-C outlets for charging. I thought it was fun how they have a zero gravity seat position. The mattress pad is super thick, and I really appreciated that because sleep is very important to me on a lie flat seat. And when the mattress pad is thick, I have better sleep. Something about the bathroom that's really funny is I noticed there is elevator music or mood music in there. Have you guys ever noticed that on a plane?
Yeah, I think it's an Airbus thing.
Really? Do all Airbuses have that?
Not all of them, but I think it's like a feature for Airbuses. Yeah.
Okay, because I never noticed it before. For some reason, I really noticed it on this plane. What I thought was really funny was the toilet paper. It's hilarious because it's printed with Starlux logo, JX, a character on it. So it really shows that this airline put some money into their product. There's also a back massage function built into the chair, but it's really slow and gradual, so you barely even notice it. But it's fun to see. A few of the things that I didn't care for is the remote for the TV is like a mouse, and I had trouble using it. So what I ended up doing was just touching the screen with my finger in order to navigate. And then there's a wireless charging pad that didn't work for me at all for my phone. So unfortunately, that was something that was a bust for me.
Yeah, Serena, I also used my finger on the touchscreen because I didn't even mess with that other remote. But I think the IFE had a pretty good selection of movies and shows. And what I had to do is filter the English language because there's a lot of other stuff that I probably wouldn't understand. But I think it was a good selection. And the IFE also had like a kids mode. So, it was easier for kids to find something to watch by just going on that. So, and there was also some games on there that they were playing. So that was actually pretty nice.
So Serena, Miguel, the big hype about Starlux is that they serve boba on the flight. Did it live up to the hype? Did you try it?
So first off, my girls love boba. So we were in Taipei. So obviously, since that's where it's from, we needed to have that. So we were only there for a day and we must have had boba like 4 times. So once we got to the flight, they were ready for it as well. And, I feel like I almost forgot. Like my wife told me, she's like, are you going to get boba? I was like, oh, like if she didn't remind me, I would have probably forgot about it. So I'm glad she reminded me. And then I was like, can I get one? And then one for the one behind me. They had their boba and they're happy there. That was their happy place.
So I will say I did get boba on the plane and I got it mostly for the photos because I actually think that it didn't taste that great. It tasted more like milk than tea. So it was more of a milk drink. Also, earlier in the day, my friend took me to one of the best boba places in Taiwan. We went to Chun Shui Tang earlier in the day. And so that is the company that reportedly invented boba. And so it was really good. After that, and then getting on Starlux and having their boba, it just couldn't compare to me. I say get it and try it for yourself. Maybe it was, the one that I got that tasted more milky. I thought it was just okay.
Yeah, it was not as good as what we had. And we didn't go to that place you recommended. And we had some from the mall, like some franchise or store there. But the girls loved it. So I'm like, that's fine. Like if they like it, that's all I need. But the one on the flight was not as good as what we had in Taipei.
All right. So what I hear in conclusion is try the burger, Wi-Fi is free, and the boba is meh.
And make sure you get your seats ahead of time.
Because I got my Alaska cards and I'm ready for the next round.
So I think there's some offers out there, right, for the Alaska card for up to 75,000 miles, which is perfect because that's the amount of miles you need to redeem for this flight. And even though I paid 60 last year, I would happily pay the 75,000 that they require now because I think it is definitely worth it.
And I originally paid 60,000 Alaska miles for this Taipei to LAX flight, but then I ended up changing it for the Taipei to SFO route instead. And for me, that was worth it to pay an extra 15,000 miles per ticket in order to come straight back home. The reason why it was worth it to me is because I got this cool luggage tag. It's a San Francisco Starlux luggage tag. Did they give anything like this on your flight, Miguel?
No, I didn't get that.
That's okay.
Cue the sad music. So you guys all booked these wonderful flights. Can you tell us what routes does Starlux fly to and how to find award availability?
So Starlux started flying to LAX from Taipei last year, and then they added the San Francisco route that Serena took later in the year. And they're adding a third route. They're going to fly to and from Seattle, and that's going to start in August of this year. So there's going to be more options now. And even if you're not planning on flying to Taipei or visiting Taipei, this is a great gateway for you to get to other places in Asia. So you can fly from LA, San Francisco, or soon Seattle to Taipei and then connect there to wherever else you want to go in Asia.
So in the show notes, we'll have credit card links for the Alaska credit cards that you can get, each with a 75,000 sign-up bonus. We have both the personal card and the business card that are great ways to earn Alaska miles. And other ways to earn Alaska miles for a trip like this is Bilt recently announced that you can also transfer Bilt points to Alaska. This is groundbreaking because they are the only credit card program that can transfer to Alaska right now. Also, you can transfer Marriott points to Alaska if you wanted to. The ratio's not as great, but we want to let you know that that is an option if you are flush with Marriott points. So one of the great ways to find availability on Starlux is to use Seats.aero. I had set an alert for my Taipei to SFO flight and got the alert, which allowed me to change my flight from the route going to LAX to the route going to SFO. So I love Seats.aero alerts for that. And remember, our Seats.aero promo code for $20 off is Let's Get 20.
If you're going to apply for Alaska cards to get Alaska miles to book this wonderful Starlux flight, I do have a hot tip for you. Alaska cards are issued by Bank of America, and Bank of America will allow you to apply for multiple credit cards within a short span with only one hit to your credit. So you could apply for the Alaska business card and the Alaska personal card and only have one hard pull on your credit report. Maximize by maybe getting both cards, and you can have a Starlux flight going to Asia and one coming back.
So we give very honest reviews of what we've flown, and I think Miguel and I have been very honest about our flight experience. But overall, Miguel, is this something that you would fly again?
Oh yeah, definitely. I wish I could maximize my referrals so I could go back.
Same for me. I think it's a great option to go to and from Asia from the US. So definitely look into these cards for ways that you can get more Alaska miles.
All right, Miguel. The people want to know. We want to see the amenity kits. We want to see the the goodies. How was the amenity kit on this flight?
So the case is really nice. This is a case. So it's like a little luggage thing. This is actually pretty much similar to what I got on ANA first class this week, except that was a different brand. It was Globetrotter, and this is made by Bricks. But the inside, the contents of this, that was pretty weak. Or as the kids say, it was mid. So
It was mid.
the amenity kit was mid. So I only like the case, and the inside, you can skip it really. I did use the socks, I like to use the socks to change them out. I have like fresh socks when I'm flying, but yeah, it was pretty mid. But since I did get 5 of these, my family and I, we might be able to give some away at our meetup.
A mid product.
Just kidding. I mean, it might be mid for some, but the case is beautiful.
The case is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I'm using now. I'm traveling right now for work, and this is where I'm carrying my hygiene stuff, my personal stuff. So it's a nice bag.
All the podcasting equipment. That'd be great for that.
So we'll have a couple to give away at our meetup, and that's coming up in June. And we got that link in the show notes below for where you can register and come out and hang out with us. And we'll have a couple of Starlux amenity kits to give away, it sounds like.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, Serena, Miguel, I took a lot of notes here while you were talking about Starlux, and it's all good stuff. So I am prepared for my flight. So thank you very much. Now, if we missed something or you got another question, check us out in the comments below. Leave us a note, ask us a question. We'll let you know what our thoughts are on for anything that we missed. Up next, it's time for Ask Us.
This is Gemma from Thousand Oaks, California, and I listen to the show every week, so thank you so much for all the great content. My question is regarding lesser known travel destinations. I want to know about places that you've been to or you want to go to that are not on everybody's bucket list. Maybe they're a hidden gem, maybe people just don't think to go there, maybe nobody's heard of this place, it's underrated, but still has a lot to offer. I would also like to know how you would go about making a reservation to get there. Thank you so much for all the great content.
Ooh, hidden gems. And hi, Gemma. I like that. It kind of rhymes, right? Gemma, hidden gems. Thank you so much for your question. And Serena and I, we loved meeting you at our recent LA meetup. It was great spending time with you and everyone there. All right, gang. I think she's got a really great question here this week for our Ask Us about some great destinations off the beaten path and how we would get there. So let's start with Nicole. And I know you've got a great answer for this because you love going to places like this, right?
Yeah, right now on the top of my bucket list is going to Oman. Nick from Frequent Miler went there last year and I saw him swimming with this whale and I immediately fell in love. Tie that with the fact that you can fly Q suites there and possibly upgrade to a first class ticket to Oman and get to the first class lounge. That would make, as Serena would say, one of my many dreams come true. So I would definitely like to visit Oman. How about you, Serena? What's on your list?
So this is a destination that I have on my list. I haven't been there yet, but I really want to. I love these off the beaten path remote destinations. So mine is going to be Palau. Palau is in between Guam and the Philippines. And the reason why I like it is because they have this lake there called Jellyfish Lake. And in this lake, there are hundreds and thousands of jellyfish that have evolved without stingers. So you can snorkel with them, you can hold them, bring them to your face and kiss them. I really want to bring my kids there so that they can experience this. And I want to experience it too. So to get there, you can find award availability on the long haul route from the US to either Taiwan, Singapore, or the Philippines. Maybe you can take Starlux to Taiwan, then take a short direct flight to Palau. Another way is to get to Guam via Hawaii, Japan, or South Korea, and then fly from Guam to Palau. So there are no points hotels on Palau, but some ideas to help offset the cost of the hotels when paying out of pocket is you can book directly with the hotel and use the Capital One purchase eraser to erase the charge. You could also book through a program's travel portal like Capital One, Chase, or Amex. And you can also get points from regular online shopping through Capital One Shopping and maybe redeem cash back for gift cards for hotels.com and then book your hotel stays in Palau. So Palau is high on my list, mostly because of Jellyfish Lake. How about you, Miguel?
So off the beaten path destinations is one thing that I'd love to do. One of my favorite ones that I've done is Chernobyl. Well, so I did go to Chernobyl out there in Ukraine a few years ago, which I'm glad I went a few years ago because it's probably harder to go right now. So I have many destinations on my list that are off the beaten path. But one of the ones that I'd like to go is Madagascar. So I think it's cool. I want to go see the trees out there. I like that it's separate from the rest of the continent in Africa. So one of the better ways to get there is probably flying on Air France because they do fly there directly from Paris. But no matter what you end up choosing, flightconnections.com is a great resource for you to see which routes that you can take to wherever you end up choosing. What about you, Mitch?
I love this question because I think our tips like this really help people go beyond what most bloggers and influencers share and post online. So right after things started opening up after COVID, there was this fare sale for business class with United, and it went to Zurich, Switzerland. But we've been there many times and it's a big tourist spot. So we wanted to kind of explore beyond that in Switzerland. So my husband, Porat, had the great idea to head up to Zermatt, Switzerland. Now, a couple of things here that I loved about this and our time there. First off, it was the Matterhorn. We had really good weather most days, and we had these incredible views that were just breathtaking. And you also have to take a train there because the city doesn't have any gas cars, but they've got some electric taxis that can kind of get you around if you needed. And we did take the VIP gondola. Of course we did, to the very top of the mountain.
Of course you did.
Of course. And it came with a nice bottle of Moet champagne, which was a great way to relax and enjoy the views going up. But, you know, when you get up there and you're drinking in the altitude, probably not such a good thing. But anyway, my favorite thing that we did on this entire trip was we took this hike to see the 7 lakes. And this was some of the best pictures and video I've gotten on a trip. And the views, they were just incredible. It looked like a movie. Highly recommend doing this as well. Couple notes on how we booked this. First, we couldn't find any good points hotels, so we used our American Express Fine Hotels and Resorts credit. We stayed at the Mont Cervin Hotel, and it was great because we used the $100 for the dining credit there at their restaurant. Now, I'd book this trip again in a heartbeat, and if I did it, I'd look for first class on Lufthansa on their A380 by either trying my luck with Avianca Life Miles, but I don't know if I'm brave enough to do that, or I'd probably try the safer route of booking via Air Canada Aeroplan or United Miles as well. Now, we did stop in Zurich before we took the train ride up to Zermatt, and we did stay at the Park Hyatt there. And another one of the highlights from that trip was having them take us around for a nice little spin in their house car, which was the Rolls Royce. So, you know, everything went perfect on that trip. So it was a good trip. So thank you, everyone. And thank you, Gemma. We hope those suggestions help you. And for sending in your video question to us, it's so easy for you to be on our show. Drop us a line on any one of our social media channels, or you can visit our website at letsgettothepoints.com and we'll answer your question right here. That's it for now. I want to thank all of our hosts. It's Serena.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Miguel.
Later.
And we'll see you next week, Nicole.
See you guys next week.
And I'm Mitch Shannon. You can find out more about us at our website at letsgettothepoints.com. And we'll see you here next Friday. Thanks for watching and listening.
Let's get to the points.com.